All right, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to go over the assignment. Yeah. So, first thing I'm going to show you is the checkpoint. Checkpoint's actually hard mode, right? I know it is. It's a little harder than some of your other checkpoints have been. It's not so bad though, and I made it a point to show you closer to what I was looking at because I provided you with another video for you to watch, which is going to be part of your assignment, but we didn't talk much about the player arc, so to speak. Now, it's kind of starting to make sense a little bit. We know that we have to have a goal for our player, but we also have to know what we want them to be feeling from the start to the finish. So rather than kind of just throw you in without thinking about how other games do it, for this checkpoint, I'm asking you to post a level to a game you know really well. When I say post it, you can just describe it, give me the name of it from the game. You don't have to give visuals. I like to give visuals because it communicates a lot more for me. List the story beats of the level in any format you like. You can list it text, itemized list, visuals, whatever. And then create a visual representation of the important moments in that level. And so I know that was a lot, so I actually provided an example and I did the assignment with you. So I used Final Fantasy IX, Vivi, and Alexandria. I love this game. I know it super well. I could probably just tell you off the top of my head, but I replayed it. And so I picked this, and I showed a little visual of it because I love Vivi. Alright, so in the story beats, I decided to find a map of it on the internets and draw over it. I put like, this is where you spawn in, this is where like, these here are the story beats, these X's are things that you can interact with that I found really memorable, and I had noticed that everything is spread out pretty evenly. You don't have a large cluster of things happening in one area versus the other, which kind of says something to me about pacing. So I took the story beats that I thought were really important, and I created what I'd call a character arc. Where you spawn is like totally neutral, and leaving is closer to neutral. So what I thought, like, how about I do an arc of like the ticket, turning that in, and I was like, oh, you find out that you have to do something else, like this is a big point, so he starts to go down, and then you get stolen from, so that's down low, and then I meet the bossy kid where things get really good, and then the level ends on kind of a high note. And so this was my visual representation of the arc of Vivi. Okay? Now, if you've played the game, you might see that, and maybe you even disagree with it. You're like, I think it looks more like this, and that's okay too. I want you to just interpret the arc of your character's story beats from start to finish. Okay? All right. Any questions so far? All right. We'll keep going. Next. Okay. I'm going to introduce to you the parable of Professor Tig Honest and Dr. MacGuffin, Part 1. This is not 30 points. This is like 50 points. I need to update that. Typo. Excuse me. Incorrect. All right. Given. After all that has happened, Professor Tig Honest knows what they have to do. They must find the knowledge in order to find Dr. MacGuffin immediately. We don't know yet where either is. And that is your story narrative for this level that you're going to make. So, your objective is, as a game designer, you are now tasked with creating a level for a walking simulator. That doesn't mean you have any shooting. There is not going to be any bad guys that you can kill you. You can platform and jump if you want to, but really what this is about is guiding the player from point A to B, and then also communicating with them that they have to go somewhere else first. Okay? So, I've provided you with a talk that I want you to watch at some point this week because this will be part of your assignment. Everything I learned about level design, I learned from Disneyland. If you've been to Disneyland, even better. If you haven't, that's okay. They talk about it. But this is a really fantastic breakdown of how the creators of a theme park were essentially our first level designers. We didn't have video games yet, but we did have interactive experiences that were designed with a very specific fun and adventurous tone in mind. So walking through Disneyland, it might be one of the closest things you can experience towards like having a first-person video game experience outside of VR or games in general. So I really like it. The entire experience from start to finish was designed with fun in mind. Okay, so step 1, watch this. Step 2, do a write-up of your takeaways from the talk. Minimum 1 page. It would be easy to go over. So if you go well over, great, but write at least a page. Discuss player thematic goals, escape, survive, exploration, education, and moral lesson. Discuss the weenies. You'll know what that means when you watch it. Discuss moral arcs, and discuss structuring levels. Okay. Step 3, decide your player's thematic goal. It can be different than the talk's goals. You just need to have one. And if you're unsure, reach out to me with your pitch, and we can talk about it. Create a list of the feelings that you want your player to feel from start to finish. All of them. List them in order. Then draw a curve that represents those feelings, not unlike our discussion assignment. I want you to do this for the level that you're going to create. Okay. Then draw a map of your level using paper and pencil or Photoshop or another digital tool. I want you to make sure that you include your player spawn, MacGuffin's room, the knowledge, and the golden path. And we're going to talk about what all of those are right now. Okay. So what we know from the given information. Professor Protagonist, protagonist is the player. Professor Protagonist is the player. We know that we have to find the knowledge in the level in order to find Dr. MacGuffin. That's all we need to do. So in your level, you will create a map where Dr. MacGuffin is in one place and the knowledge is in the other. And what you'll do is you'll make sure that you guide the player to first go to get the knowledge in order to get Dr. MacGuffin. But what I don't want you to do is to create a straight line in which you walk through the room that has the knowledge, and then that activates the next room for Dr. MacGuffin. There's a problem there, because first of all, it doesn't create a player arc. It's a straight line. It's literally nothing happens. So I want you to create an experience in a map. Think of it as kind of like a maze. Where this is more up to you. It can be in a laboratory, it could be in a school, it could be in a hospital, it could be in a creepy house, it could be in some abstract dream world if you want to. It doesn't have to be explicit, but I recommend finding a visual that really speaks to you and going with that. Okay. In future lectures, I'm going to be going over with you how to put in a trigger in this level. So this is not that you have to design the entire level in 1 week. This is planning. What I want you to do is I want you to think about your thematic goal for your player, think about the map that you want it to be, and remember, in this discussion, look at how balanced all of the pacing is here. So all we're going to have to do is make sure you have at least 3 rooms, player spawn, where the knowledge is. All it means is you have to go to that room first, and where Dr. MacGuffin is. I should make sure that you're not speaking at me because we are, in fact, chatting. Disneyland makes me feel like I'm always just about to go into a boss fight. See what you did there? Nice. The bottom 2 images aren't loading for me in Canvas. I don't know if it's just me. Oh, what did you mean by your by the bottom two images? Right. Okay. So we're gonna get started now, and I'm gonna turn off my little vloggy monitor there. Okay. All right. See Unity? This is what Unity looks like. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to put some cooler skies in here. We want some skies. I want to put some cube. First I'm going to put a cube. Then I'm going to make a floor. Then I'm going to put a cube in here. Cube. Cool. All right. We got an object in here. This is looking pretty boring though. Boring as shit. And one of my most biggest pet peeves whenever I see prototypes is that people just use this like background sky and that's it. They don't change a thing. And then sometimes they'll say, and this was okay for y'all to do because you didn't know any better, is this hard black shadow here. It's just black and no other information. It's just kind of gross. Okay. So first let's talk about some of the bare minimum stuff that we have to do. We know that the directional light has some context to it. Like we can like make it go down and it's like the sun is setting and that's kind of nice. Oh, it's a little sun. Oh, that's fun. It's kind of automated too, but it's still pretty default generic looking. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it off. I don't like it. But you'll notice everything is black. You guys get the same thing sometimes where it's just black when you get the sky or the lights off? And if you do, that's fine. And if not, that's also fine. It actually means that you can skip this next step. But let's take a look at some stuff here. Right here, under lighting, we're going to make sure that we've got auto generate on. Clicked on. Whoop. So what's going to happen is it's going to start baking lighting information from the sky on our objects. Because light reflected off of the sky bounces also. And that's pretty important information. Bring that, I'll leave that off. I don't want that right now. Yeah, you can turn it back on. Inspector, turn it back on. Okay, so that's looking a little bit better, right, than before. It was all gross. Agreed? All right, again, I am going to turn off the directional light, though, because I don't actually want to use it right now. I want to play around with, before I know what I want my sun to be, I want to change the sky. So if I head back over here to lighting, what this is, if I scroll up to the top under environment, Skybox material, what this is asking is what Skybox do you want for your scene? Okay, there's a few different ways we can go about this. I'll show you some of the basics. All right, first we're going to do is we're going to make a material for the sky. Right click, create material. Well, we know how to do that. We'll call it moody sky. You can even name it what mood you want it to be if you want, but for now, call it moody sky. So, based off of what we know about materials, what do you think is the first thing that we need to change on this? Isn't there a matte suffix? Ooh! Oh, coming up swinging. There sure is. That was a test and you passed. Just kidding. I forgot. There sure is. Underscore Matt or underscore M. Okay. What's the second thing I need to change on this material? Nice job. The shader. Right up here. We know that this material like reflects light, but this is going to be something that represents the sky, so we need a whole new math equation, right? So if I drop this down and I look at, ooh, hey, skyboxes, very cool. Hey, there are a few already in here. 6-sided, I wonder what that looks like. Oh, okay, I need to create 6 texture maps. You could do that, but we don't have to. Let's go back to skyboxes. Use a cube map. Oh, so you just create a cube map, you just drop that in there. All right, well, I don't know what that is, so I'm gonna keep going. Sidebar, I do, but we're not gonna go over that. That's a little advanced for today. Panoramic. Ooh, I could drop a spherical panoramic image in here and it'll create a sky for me. That's dope. But I don't really have access to make that stuff happen, so let's keep going. Procedural. That sounds interesting. Oh. Well, that actually looks a lot like our basic Unity sky up on y'all. Well, alright. What happens if I change it? Okay, well, I'll let's play around with some color. When you click the color, I can pull this guy up, and I don't know. I like purple. Let's give it some purple. So, oh, cool. Purple sky with a yellow. That's weird. Okay, well, you notice that I changed this, and it definitely changed my sky, but it didn't change anywhere else. What do you think I got to do next? Over in lighting, right here. Drag that puppy right on in there. Oh, hey, look at that. And it like did all this like automatic lighting stuff for my objects. That's cool. It's like, because of the yellow on the bottom, it's reflecting yellow on the bottom side of my objects and purple on the side. Dramatic. It is dramatic. It's technically moody. Turn that puppy back on. I don't love that color, so when I look at the light, directional light, I want it to match that. But you know, I don't think I'm happy with the sky yet, so I'm not gonna worry about that just yet. Let's go back to my moody sky. And now, in the inspector tab, when I've got the material selected, I can change things, and it actually changes live in my scene because I applied it to the scene. All right, I do like purple, but I don't think that's really what I'm trying to go for. I think I want to like play around with, maybe I want some nighttime sky. It's be pretty dark. That's true. Atmosphere thickness. Ooh, yeah, the atmosphere would be exposed. This is pretty cool. Exposure. Cool. I'd probably not have a sun at all. Right? Oh, like a really far away or distant sun. That's kind of fun. Oh. Now, if you're like, well, what if I want a moon? You'd have to make one. The procedural sky only kind of creates a sun for you, which I suppose you could play around with. Let's see here. Simple. That's better. I wish it could let me play with the sky or the moon color. But what I would typically do is I would probably create a skybox using the 4 or the 6 maps and paint it in. Or you could just put a big sphere up there and make it glow a kind of soft yellow or something. That would work too. I've done that. It's pretty fun. Okay, size. Big old moon. Just kidding. Let's bring it down a little bit. Or take it off altogether. Mood. Creepy dark. It's moody, right? I don't know. I think I do want... I'm gonna give it some light, some pink. Ooh. It's one interesting evening light. Or maybe I want it to be brighter. Pink. Oh, that's nice. If I really crank up the atmosphere though, look, it's just like blah, different planet, alien planet. Ooh, Silent Hill. I like playing around with these colors. Ground. Let's give it some ocean water. Ooh. Alright. So my point is that the color of the sky can really dramatically affect the mood overall that you want this to feel like. You want it to feel like something whimsical and playful, playing around with islandy, oceany colors. Yeah, it's going to really uplift the overall tone of the game. If you take it into a darker place, nighttime phase, that can dramatically change the overall lighting of the phase, or like the mood of the level. And you can also kind of get really weird and abstract if you didn't notice before. But what I want you to do is definitely make a sky. And don't use that default sky anymore. It's gross. Make sure that you've got auto-generate for baking of your lights. So it's just going to automatically bake from here on out. And then I want you to make sure that the objects that you have selected in your level that don't move or animate are marked as static. that will actually create some interesting stuff later on. Like, let me see here. I'm going to make a copy of this guy here, and here, I'll show you what happens when nothing is marked static. You know what that looks like? It looks like what we're used to seeing. I'm gonna make this. Woohoo! Gonna make this a light, and I'm gonna do that by creating a material. I'm gonna make it warm light. This is gonna be an interior light. Oh no! Okay. Apply that to my box here. No spaces, that's right. No spaces. I'm going to turn on emission. I'm going to make a light, but I want it warm. That's pretty good. Make it bright. Looks good to me. Directional light, I'm going to turn you on. And I want you to be a little warmer. I'm going to tone it down, that intensity, 3 or, I don't know, 5. I like that, 4.4. If it's low, you kind of want it to make sure it's matching the color of the sun or whatever you got going on. All right, now I'm going to mark everything static. This is what happens when you mark it static. It bakes lighting for you. So it'll take into calculation the directional light, 3D icons, directional wire, the direction of that, the color of that, the glow of my other interior light I've got here. I'm going to make another one. I'm going to drop it over here, bring it over here, pop it over here. And so we can actually create a much more interesting sort of ambient feeling with our stuff now. See that? In order for that to work though, you need to make sure that all objects that are not being animated are marked as static. Right up here. Okay, any questions so far? How are we feeling? Let's see how that looks when we make it a little darker. Fun. That can dramatically change the mood, right? Or the color of this light. Okay. All right. So, lighting. Okay. So we're like, do I have to make a material to put lighting in the scene? No, you definitely don't. In fact, you can kind of fake it a little bit. Especially if you're like, well, what if I've got things that are moving around eventually? I can't bake the lighting. I kind of want it to like not do that. So I'm going to mark this guy as not static now. Even though, let's turn this on. Brighter. There we go. So notice that this guy that's not marked static, because let's pretend I move him around. This guy is static, so it baked the lighting for me. If I head on up here to, let's see, yeah, game object, light, point light. Ooh. What I'm going to do is add, I'm going to child the point light to the cube and center it. Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh no, what happened? I went really far away. Gonna make the point light color closer to my object. Maybe tone down the intensity of the range a little bit, just playing around with it. And now, if I were to hypothetically animate this object, it'll move with me. It's pretty fun, right? It's pretty fun. So this is how you'd make a light for something that is not static, and instead we call that dynamic. Dynamic lights can move and will bring you lighting information. But you'll notice that the quality, or like sort of the how it's being communicated, isn't as fancy as the baked light. Baked lighting always looks better. It always looks better because it takes longer to process something called quadratic fall off, which is how light falls off of an object and how it's calculated. And these dynamic lights are linear fall off, and it doesn't take as much to calculate it. It doesn't look as good, but it looks all right, and it'd be great. And you can even change some of the colors of these lights to really kind of create a new and different and interesting mood altogether. All right? Okay, so we figured out how to do a new skybox and how to do some lighting. What if you're like, I really want to make a very specific skybox, a very specific like gradient color, or maybe I want to paint it. All right, you can do this, and I'll show you how to do it right now. But I'm just going to show you how to do it with gradient colors in Photoshop, not necessarily painting them. You can if you want to. I just don't want you to overwork yourself and overscope, but you certainly can if you want to play around with it. Okay, first thing you need to do, new. I'm going to create a new texture file. What resolution should I use? Give me a resolution. Okay, I'm going to pick it right now. 1024 by 1024 will work. Okay. And I'm like, oh dear, I actually kind of don't have a clue what I want to do here. Okay. Well, when I find myself not knowing what I want to do, what is that? Okay, here we go. Let's look at some skies. I don't know. To really? Joe Biden? Ooh, that's kind of cool. Ooh. Okay, fun, moody skies. This is neat. Ooh, I kind of like that, like, gradient. What about some sunsets? Or sunrises? Sunrises are fun. Cool. Oh, that's fun. I like this one. This is the one I like. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to copy this image. Just not like that. Copy. Paste it. I'm not using this actual image. What instead I'm doing is I'm just color picking the fall off I want it to be. That's it. That's all I'm using this image for. Go away. Now, I'm going to head over here to my gradient tool, and then I'm going to make a gradient. Let's see that again. No, I don't like that. I'm going to make a gradient. Cool. Alright, if I look at this though, it's got this kind of like cool pink hue happening here. Alright, let me go over here. Oh shoot. I can't draw on this. Well, I'll just do it with my mouse. It'll be fine. Yeah, sure. Pink. Sure. Opacity, much lower. That looks fun. No, not sharpen. Smidge. And let me give you some scatter. Don't worry, all this is stuff I'll teach you in the summertime. No, too rough. Alright. So I got kind of an interesting sort of gradient happening here. I'm into this. I'm pretty happy with that. Gonna come back to this color here and this color there. Those are the two colors I want. This right here is going to be my side. Side underscore texture. We'll save it as either a PNG or a Targa. I prefer Targa. It lets me save a little bit more information than a PNG. And I have to make sure that I'm saving it in my project. So I'm going to head on over to Documents, which is where I have it saved. You'll have it saved probably somewhere else that makes sense to you. Materials and atmosphere and mood. There we go. Yes, we go. That's fine. Let's just leave it on the top. And then, that's fine. Then, I'm going to make a solid gradient. Control Shift. Top underscore text. Target. Bottom. Okay, those are the three that I need. You're like, but wait, Neha, there was like, can you guys still see? I don't actually know. Still only looking at Unity, dang it. I freaking hate Zoom so much sometimes. Okay. Screen sharing again. Oh my god. Okay. So what I did was I took this guy right here and I made a gradient. And then I painted a soft pink over it because that's a little closer to that. Not perfect, but it's fine. Then I saved this right here as the side, and then I made a bottom, and then a top. Okay, and I saved them all. I'm so sorry that you didn't see me make it. It was recorded though, so you'll be able to see it that way, and I'll bookmark it for you. Gosh dang it. All right, so I have to stop screen sharing and then screen share again because it doesn't actually share screens. Okay. So now I actually want that sky to be this background here, and I've got my textures that I created right here. So I'm gonna make create a new material. Six-sided sky matte. Sure. All right. Head on over here to Skyboxes. Six-sided. And right here, they're actually kind of cool, and they tell you front, back, left, right, when they could have just been kind of assholes and been like X positive, Z positive, X, Y, Z, positive and negative. They're like, here, this is down. So down, this guy, top, up, there. All right. And then this will go on all four sides. Boom. And there you have it. You've got a little six-sided skybox. Let's drop it on in. Here we go. There we go. Look at that. That is fun. All right. Now it's not perfect. You'll notice that it has kind of a box situation happening here. And they've got that line up there. I've had that happen before. Sometimes saving them at a larger resolution will help. Just kind of going back here and making sure that, let's see, if your images are saved correctly and we don't have a line. All right. How does that feel? Look pretty good? You can get some pretty fun, like, Steven Universe feeling stuff in here if you wanted to. The aesthetic is strong. I mean, I'm telling you, when I don't know what to make, I just find a sky. I'm like, I like those colors. I'll do that. And the Photoshop part of this was really basic. like bringing it in here, using the gradient tool, picking the colors from the top and the bottom, you know, doing that gradient, and then, you know, adding a brush of pink right above it, kind of make that work. That worked pretty well, I'd say. If I wanted to go deeper, on this, I would probably, I know what I'd do. I would merge those and do a burn, no, a dodge, I mean. Probably about here, make that a little brighter. I don't like how it took the color away. I'm gonna make that shadows, make it a little hotter now. Highlights, just, ooh, that's cool. But let's undo that, let's tone it down. Yeah, that's cool. Control Shift Save. Sides. Ah, that's fine. Now, new screen share, back to you, automatically update that. Now I've got that kind of hotter line down there. That's cool. Oh, we got a seam. We got a seam. So one side's brighter than the other. That ain't cool. Sides. Doop, 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 doop. Alright, did it fix it? Yeah, that fixed it. Alright. Pretty fun stuff, right? Pretty fun stuff? So, the aesthetic is strong, she says. Well, that's just kind of how powerful lighting and sky can really take the mood of your scene. So don't be a basic. I mean it. Please don't be a basic where, like, what you do is you start a new scene. Well, I will save project and I will save the scene. But new scene, and like, you don't change any of this. Doesn't this kind of break your heart now that you know what you can do? Okay. All right. Do you have any questions on what's expected for you for next week? You got a lot of work in front of you, which is why that actual Unity assignment is not overwhelming. You just have to make a room where you essentially do what we kind of made before, like just in the scene. Like this. Give me a mood. Tell me what you want that mood to be, and then go for it with some colors. Who would have thought a clear blue sky would be depressing? I know. It's not the sky that's depressing. The sky is fine. It's just, I know exactly that shade because I've seen it so many times. And so many times people will just, they just don't change it. They're like, yeah, good enough. And I'm like, how heartbreaking. Look what you can have. Look at what it can be. I could show you a few other ways of making some interesting skies, but that's going to be for my summer class because this is not a texture painting class. However, I think that this is kind of a fun thing to do. All right. Okay. So I think we're all good here. I am terribly sorry that the screen share didn't show everything. It was all properly recorded though. So if you need to go back and see it, you can. You can actually watch how I made it on the recording. God, I'm sorry about that. I hate Zoom. All right. Okay. After this, we'll all be watching playbacks. I know. I'm sorry. You do have what it takes, though. It's not so bad. And this wasn't a very hard demo, but I'm giving you a lot of hard work to do this week. So I didn't hopefully overwhelm you with the technical side of it. Yeah, that point light should be more yellow, orangey. Bring it down. Kind of match the other light a little bit. Yeah. And then tone down the 2, 3. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can never tell. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay. Alright, y'all. I'm going to stop recording now. And I am going to